Welcome back, everyone. My name is Echo, and in today's video, we are going to be reviewing the newly released Advanced Machines add-on. This was created by Wonder Studios and is available for purchase right now for 1,170 mine coins. If you enjoy the technical side of Minecraft, this might be the add-on for you. Just as a heads up, once you do have this installed in a new or pre-existing world, you'll be prompted with this screen. It says, you've activated Wonder's Machines. This add-on places oil deposits in your world for you to discover. Oily stone may replace natural stone in the world. You can, of course, accept it or decline it. I accepted it. It isn't too crazy, and it seems to generate only in specific biomes and locations, so it's not going to dominate the whole entire world. Now, as always, with these types of add-ons, there is a lot to go through, so I'll place some timestamps to make things a little bit easier for you. So, of course, once you do have this installed, you're going to be given the Advanced Machines Guide. You have to place this down. Now, this is the very, very basics. And being totally honest with you, it's kind of hard to understand this add-on just via this book. However, the creators did something amazing. They have a dedicated wiki with a whole bunch of videos and tutorials explaining how certain things work. So we're going to check that out. I'll leave a link to this website down below. It's just advancedmachines.uk. This is going to teach you how to get started, all about the machines, but also the resources. So let's say you wanted to learn about a specific machine. Let's say you were struggling to understand the pumps. Tap on them. There is going to be a dedicated video explaining how each and every single one of these pumps work, but also a detailed explanation. The link is down below. And as a heads up here, the creators have also outlined that this add-on will be updated. So for future reference, the 2.0 updates will be released. So one of the big things within this add-on is going to be oil. Now, oil is in like a new type of ore block, and it says oil can be found around the world, mainly in deserts and ocean biomes. To find out where oil might be, look for a spilili flower, then dig down 2 blocks and you'll find oily stone, which can be extracted with the oil pump. If the spilili is on water, swim down to the ocean bed and dig it out. I'm not going to basically read this all to you because I'm going to show you exactly how this works in today's video. Being totally honest with you, it's not too difficult to find. You're simply looking for this. If we head to a desert location here, you're simply looking for these. And if we go ahead and dig down, you're going to find it, and you will find it in large quantities. You are going to need a lot of this. Throughout the showcase today, we will be referring to the guidebook, but also the websites. Like I said, this is very basic information. Now, also, as a heads up, I'm not a very techie person, and I understood this add-on. I know you guys are a lot better with the technical stuff than I am, and I know you're going to be able to use this to your advantage. But on the getting started page, we need to make a steel foundry to start off with. This is going to be the recipe. You need a bunch of iron, a blast furnace, and some redstone dust. If you don't see it, tap on craftable, and this is what you're making. Now, advantage here, if you hover over a lot of the items in today's video, it basically explains what it does. Turns coal into iron, then into steel. It requires power, which is wonder watts, which I thought was pretty cool. The only downside I had to this is when you place it down, it places the back first. This is actually considered the front. You can break this with your hands, and this whole entire add-on is blocks and not entities. So if we place this down, this is what we have. If we open this, you can see requests coal, iron, and wonder watts. Now, I was like, oh my days, this is going to be such a pain, because if you tap on this, you can insert these one by one. And obviously, that's not really exciting to do, especially on Bedrock Edition, where it basically goes to the top one every single time. You would have to do this 64 times for the coal, 64 times for the iron, which on this occasion, we're actually going to do. So yes, I really have gone through the pain of tapping and doing this one at a time. Regardless of us doing this, it is now full of coal, but also full of iron. But we don't have the wonder watts, so we're not able to produce the steel ingots, which will be used throughout this add-on. let me explain how to get them. So to make the machine somewhat functional, we're going to need cables. This is made with dried kelp, but also a copper ingot. You'll be given 16 of these at a time. And this is simply going to go into the back there. You now need power. So on this occasion, we're going to use a solar panel. This is made with blue stained glass, iron ingots, and some power cables. This will give you a solar panel, but you are going to need sunlight for this to work. There is a couple of alternatives a little bit later on. Once again, you have to place this here. So you'll notice we're starting to get the wonder watts, which means we're then going to have the ability to produce the steel ingots. But we don't actually have a way to take these out. You can do it manually, but we're Minecraft players. We're lazy. We don't want to do that. So obviously everything I'm showing you now can be fully automated. So alongside power cables, we're going to need this. This right here is an item pipe. It is made with the steel. So the first couple you're going to have to take out yourself until you have enough to make a bunch. You need 4 of these and some glass panes. Open up a crafting table. We now have this. They are going to go on the side. That side, but also this side. You're going to need the power there. And you can see here, we don't actually have any coal or any iron. So what you can do here is create 2 more items. One is going to be an input. One is going to be an output. This is going to require more steel, redstone, the pipe that we've just made, and a hopper. This is going to let us make the filler, but we can also make the emptier, which does require a dispenser. So grab all of these and make both of these items. So now we're going to kind of link all of this up. So what we'll do is we'll place another pipe here. We're going to put the filler here. So any items that I have inside of here, which is going to be coal and iron, you can see are going inside of there. So we now have a little bit of materials. We're then going to have the ability to make steel. But what I'm going to do on this occasion is just put a bunch more inside of here. And you will see them, as you can see, going through the pipes. Going inside of here, we have the ability to take out iron. We don't want to remove it by ourselves. We want to do this automatically. So we're going to need another chest. We're then going to need the item pipe. We're then going to have to place down a chest and put the emptier. And if all is done correctly, the actual ingot should go inside of here. And this is, like I said, the very basics that it explains on the first couple of pages. This is confusing. Their website explains things so much easier. So this one has 57 inside. If we were to steal this emptier here, like I said, all of these can be broken with your hands. It should take them all out as well. It should do it in bigger quantities as well here. Let's double check. 59. So yeah, it did it like a whole entire stack, basically. As we go along in today's add-on, the solar panels aren't as efficient. We also have ourselves a wind turbine, working at 100% efficiency at Y level 160 and higher. Now, we're currently only on level 96. And if we place this down here, if it works, the turbine will come out. If it doesn't, it will just stay on the inside. So if you have blocks above it, it's not going to work. This is going to give you your wonder watts. 40 out of 40 isn't too bad. And you can just use this as a bonus. You can stack them all together as well. But let's get into even more things, because this is where we start to get into pumps and a whole bunch more advanced stuff. So wind turbine requires wind. A solar panel requires sunlight. If you like to live underground, there is an alternative. This one right here is going to be a heat generator. Turns lava into power and requires lava itself. So I've got myself a couple of lava buckets here, but we do have a couple of things set up. You are going to need a couple more things with this. Once again, I'm not showing you guys all of the crafting recipes because I think they're quite easy to understand and their website explains it a lot better. You're also going to need this, which is a fluid pipe. Can be used for water, lava, oil, and fuel. So we're going to grab a couple of these. And on this occasion, we are using a lava pump. And as a bonus, what it does say here, diameter is 11 and depth is 10. So it doesn't work on a whole entire lava lake, but I think you can take these into the nether and use them there. I'm going to place this here. At the back, just like before, we're going to have to use some form of power or cable. We're using We're going to use these throughout today's add-on just because that requires a lot more space. Now, this thing is now pumping the lava, but it needs somewhere to go. So you now need to place these down wherever you want, but it needs to go into this machine. This is also going to require... Wait, is it that way? Is it this way? Double check. We'll see. There we go. Nope. Maybe it's this way. There we go. That's what I'm saying. So it was really hard to tell from back and stuff like that. That's obviously going to be the front. So we'll place that there. There we go. So on the website, it says input is lava, output is power. A little bit later on in today's video, we have batteries. So I'm guessing we could use this machine to power our batteries. Let's test it. So I'm just going to see if this is going to work. This should have the power on this side. So yes, that is a prime example of how you could use this. But there is going to be plenty more machines a little bit later on that this could benefit from. But you are going to need lava in order for this to work. This needs wind. This one needs sunlight. And you'll notice if we tap on this, it has 352 wonder watts out of 500. There are 2 types of batteries you're able to use. Now, let's say you were done with this. You're also able to fill up these, which are called fluid tanks. So if I was to get rid of these, place this here, this is going to fill this up. You could then take this to somewhere completely different and combine it with the likes of the generator in a completely separate way. So if I do /give at P and we do a bucket here, can we take this out? We can take this out, which means, can you put this inside of here? You can insert it just with a bucket as well. So it doesn't have to be fully automated. Then obviously, if this does have anything inside of it, you can combine it with this and once again power up your battery, which on this occasion, this one's pretty full. But remember, not everything is infinite. Once the lava is gone and all of this resource has been consumed and used up, well, then you're going to have to take this generator to a brand new place. So the one that I've just showed you is MK1, storing 500 wonder watts. This one right here stores 2000 and is going to be MK2. Just like before, place it here, and eventually it is going to fill up. Obviously, if this has enough lava and wonder watt inside of it. Alongside the lava pump / generator, there is also going to be an oil one, but also a water one. Oil basically needs to go on oil. As you've seen before, if you find it inside of the deserts or under the oceans, you have to place this down. Water has to be above it, so placing a block next to it is the best way to go. These are also going to require some form of power. This can be one of these, a wind turbine, which I'll test it on this occasion. It might actually work. There we go. This is going to work. This is going to generate this. Water, on this occasion, we'll just go ahead and use this one. This is, oops. This is now going to power up as well. As you can see, it's taking the water. You're then going to have to grab yourself even more of the fuel pipe. In creative, it gets a little bit funky, so best to type it out, by the way, because they look slightly different. If I then do this, you can see it ends up like this rather than this. But we then have to take this completely to a new destination. Same with the water. Can also be stored inside of these as well. So we'll go up, across. That's now going to fill up as long as there is oil down there, which on this occasion there is. And it's going to be the exact same with this one. So we'll fill this one back up as well. Change this. Put this one on top. Go across. And there you go. So yeah, that's how that system works. And these become a lot more functional a little bit later on. So I taught you how to make the steel foundry. There is also going to be a bronze one. And this basically can create, well, bronze used to make a whole bunch of things within this add-on. To make that, you are going to need still a bunch of steel, still a blast furnace, and some cable. Open up a crafting table. This all goes around the outside. This one here, this one there. And you'll end up with this. And the same applies like before, right? So you place this down. I'm going to try and put this in the right direction. This goes at the back. This is going to be the input, which needs to be gold and copper I believe. Gold, copper, and power. So it has to be powered up. Let's check if it is powered. It is. We now need to attach this back to here. Those items should go inside of there. And eventually, this is then going to produce bronze once it has enough materials inside of there. Sometimes this can take a little bit longer, but you can see it's starting to work there. On this occasion, we have ourselves a bronze ingot. But you can remove them one by one if you wanted to. But obviously, like I said, when Minecraft players were lazy, it's usually something that we would come back to. It's a little bit slower, but it's still producing the ingots. And obviously, at this point, you'd have to stack these up as well, just to keep the system going quite frequently. But this is something I would come back to and collect a little bit later on. There is ways to speed this up. Next on our list, this, I believe, is going to be the furnace. The electric furnace requires power, smelts and cooks items. Now, this is available in 4 different versions. We have MK1, 2, 3, and 4. I think if we hover over it. Okay, so not hovering over it. If we place it down, once again, it has to be done in this direction. Certain ones are going to be quicker than others, if I remember correctly. This one is 3 times speed. So would need all of the available items that we have to put inside. So I think I placed them over here. So a whole bunch of these can be placed inside. We'll do each one for a stack for now. So a stack can go in there. Stack can go in there. Stack can go in there. And then I think a stack can go inside of there. And this should be done a little bit faster. This one's going to be a lot slower, I believe. Let's double check. This one's meant to be a lot faster, but it's got stone inside. Now producing the smooth version. If we come down here, it's got 1. I'm going to see if any of them's got like multiple in. It's got 3 inside. This one should be done a little bit faster. Check. 4 and 4. Okay, not too much of a difference, but you can see 2.5 speed. You can see the speed. These are just going to be a lot more expensive to make, but should smelt things a lot faster. And they're basically the exact same, but it doesn't matter what you put inside there. It can be a whole bunch of different things. I was trying to mix and match and put a whole bunch of random things inside. And I'm curious if it can smelt them like even faster if you have more items inside. Let's try. That goes inside of there. No, it's still going to do them in order, I believe. So once the stone is done, it should then go to gold, and then it should go to beef. There's a big difference now. This is the first one only done 10, and this one's done double that. So obviously it pays to have the better machines. Next on our list is going to be the oil refinery, and this turns power and oil into fuel, which can be used later on for things like the quarry. So we're going to have to place this down. You can see it's inside of there. You're still going to need power, by the way. So let's go ahead and power this up. This should now be powered. We need to take this to a new location. As you can see here, it's being converted. Once again, this is where the likes of your fuel tanks come into play. So we're just going to link these all up. This will then eventually be stored inside of here. I believe if you grab yourself a bucket, you can take this out manually. Yes, we took it out, which can be placed down in different locations. But again, we're going to make this as an automated system. As long as there is oil to be found and mined, this system will just keep going. I personally think to understand the quarry, it's best to read the website, because you are going to need both a water pump and an oil pump. For this, I have them both tied up to a solar panel. 3 of them to be exact, worked perfectly fine. You're going to need to take this oil into a refinery. This is then going to be created into fuel, which is where you then have to link this. So you're going to need this to be converted into this, to go inside of this. You're also going to have an output for a chest, but you're also going to have the water pump go in. Now, one thing to be noted here is that there's only so far that you can take water or any kind of material, any kind of liquid. They only go over a certain distance, so I couldn't take it from there and expect the quarry to work over here, if that makes sense. But when you tap on a quarry, you're going to able to tap and change the size. 16 by 16. You can have it 24 by 24. You can have this even 32 by 32. It's going to mine out the blocks. This is really good for getting a ton of this. If you find lots of oily stone, it's great for that. On this occasion, we're going to work on a much smaller scale because otherwise we're pushing this to limits. And we're just going to hit start. This is going to outline. Now, the only way this will work is if this does have a clean outline. So if I was to have things like in the way, sometimes it can break, especially on the outside. But this is automatically going to dig a quarry for you. And as long as there's oil and water going into it, which you'll see here, fuel and water is completely fine. It's going to keep producing it. There's plenty of oil there. It will mine it. And all of the items that we have will go inside of here. But like I said, their website shows a video and explains it very well. So they have outlined on this, fluids can only travel so far. But if you struggle and have any problems at all, I'm telling you now, these videos helped me create today's video. I'm not really the best teacher on some occasions. So if you do struggle with certain aspects of my showcase, they help you just as much. Next is going to be the plastic machine. Turns oil into plastic and does require power. So we're going to have to place this down. This is the oil that we have. I'm going to fill this up. Eventually, the oil will go inside of here. And it will produce the plastic bars, which I did a little bit of test earlier on, and you can see it does actually work. You can fully automate this system. You can line it up with things like the refinery. You can line it up with the pumps. They will just go through eventually, but I have a bunch of these. Let's just make sure this is filled up. So you can use the tank itself, and you tap on the tank, 86 out of 90. We have bars inside of there. For some reason, it's not like taking it out, but you can just do this manually if you wanted to. But you can automate these systems. And then we go on to the next one, which is going to be, I think it's the circuit one. Yeah, so you're going to need the plastic to then make circuits. So we'll put this back down here. The input here is going to be gold and plastic. So this is gold ingots need to go in, plastic needs to go in, and it needs to have power. And same applies as before. There you go. This one worked. They should go inside of here. It creates the circuit boards, which will be used for a bunch of machines. Probably should have showed you this a little bit earlier on, so I do apologize. It still has the bars inside. Yeah, this one, for some reason, didn't want to do it automatically. I must have done something slightly wrong on this occasion. But I also wonder, because with this one, I just used, like, the ingots. If I was to just put buckets inside of here, like these ones, I wonder if they would work on that one. But this is producing the circuit boards, which I think might be needed to make this machine, which is the auto harvester. It just needs to be by the farms. Place it down. It's going to automatically start to harvest these. You can link all of these up to conveyors, which, again, I probably should have showed you a little bit earlier on. What this will also do is auto plant down the crops for you as well. Obviously, you'd have to create an automated system with everything I've showed you today. There is also a fishing one. I had to break this because things were getting crazy. You can, once again, automate these to go into a chest. But it did outline that what's meant to happen here is it's meant to produce treasures as well. Now, from my understanding, Minecraft now only does... Let's just try and grab one of these. I think it's treasures if you're inside of the ocean, maybe. Which might be one of the reasons why this wasn't working. But these, over time, will eventually just go inside of here. It's a great way to get yourself food sources. But for this one to work, it has to be hovering over water. I think if you do this in an ocean, it works so much better. Oh, it works there. It's working. Something went inside of there. But I haven't gathered any treasures from this while in this flat world. So with this one, probably best to go to the ocean. Another really cool thing available inside of this is going to be the animal spawner, but also going to be the mob spawner. Now, I tied these to the likes of a turbine because they produce a lot more. Now, these do require a lot of power. So on this occasion, I'm going to put down the mob spawner here. If you tap on the mob spawner, it can store up to 2,000 watts. You then decide what mob you want to spawn. I want it to do random. So that means over time, once this does have a bunch of wattage, a mob will spawn from this. And this is going to be the same for this. So I'm going to break this one, place down the animal one. And I would like to have some pigs. That's now going to eventually have the power from these. But remember, these should have a lot more wattage and power. but they don't right now because the efficiency isn't great. These feel a little bit slower than that. If we were to do this a lot higher, like on the mountain range, these would move a lot faster. So this one might take a little bit of time to actually work, but this one worked for skeletons, which it summoned with a bow. But if you don't want skeletons, or you did want just skeletons, activate skeletons. I've had a whole bunch of things come from this. Skeletons and spiders. A lot of spiders actually worked. Let's see if we can get this one to work. Okay, so we need to get a little bit more power with this one because these were just not doing the job. And as you can see, pigs are now starting to spawn. But this needs a lot more wattage. So I was having to place down a whole bunch of these. So there's a lot more, obviously, going inside of this. As long as there's... okay. So these create, like, invisible blocks sometimes as well. But as long as they are getting the needed sunlight, this will eventually power up quite quickly. I was teaching you a lot about batteries quite early on. There is a charging station. Again, the more power you have going to it, the better it's going to be. So what you need to do here is grab yourself the batteries, tap on this, and you want to insert batteries. What this will eventually do is get enough power that will be applied to the batteries, and then you're able to withdraw them and use them for either machines like that or things like jetpacks, which I will show you. So once one is charged enough, you can see here, one's been charged. Obviously, it only takes 500. We can collect the charged one, which will be the MK1. I would then have to wait for, I think it's 2,000 for the MK2. So we would just have to wait for this one to have enough power. But to check how much battery life they have on them, place them down, and on the side of it, this one is full. You can also tap on it, and it will tell you this one is still currently charging. So with everything I've showed you today, there is also going to be conveyors. Again, a little bit of a tedious thing with this is that it places it down facing the other direction. So everything's going to then go that way. So you have to kind of go backwards in a way. So this has to go backwards here like this. You can link them up to hoppers and things like that as well. So it'll eventually end up inside of there. There is also going to be like a filter one. And the filter one, I didn't place it down. There is a filter one you can put inside of this. And that's simply called the conveyor belt. So how this one would work is you link it up to something like the electric furnace, for example. You then drop items like raw iron. It goes into this machine, providing it has wattage and something inside. It's then going to smelt those items, which can be once again extracted. That's why I said the conveyor belts become very useful for a lot of the things I've showed you. So the reason why I was charging up these batteries is because there is a couple of different machines that need them. And that is going to be the drills. So inside of this guidebook, if we just go towards the back, there is a page related to drills and jetpacks that basically explains they need to be inside of your inventory in order to work, which is this one right here. It says requires charge battery blocks in the inventory. So you would need these. There is a couple of different types of drills you're able to make. You have an iron one. You have a... which one's this one? Gold? Is this copper? Bronze. You have steel, and you also have diamond. So as long as you have these inside of here, it's going to work. So you just right-click with them. Able to mine some materials for you. We'll do the next version, because these are obviously a little bit better. This one, a little bit better. It's a great way to collect materials. This one should do it over a bigger radius. Works perfectly fine. And same with the likes of... diamond one. This also does it the exact same, but this one being the best. I like how clean it actually mines these, by the way. Super cool. And then these batteries should actually go down, but not super fast. There is a special armor set as well. It's called the super powerful armor set, and this is how you make it. Steel, circuits, and cables. So this makes you... oh, I love the noise. This makes you very, very, very powerful. There is also going to be jetpacks. There is this one, which is the basic one, and this one, which is hold to jump to fly. So do you actually equip it? You do. Yes, it gives you the ability to just kind of jump. We'll take those off. So you jump to move. This is obviously not as good as the other one, so you kind of move a lot slower. And this is also going to take your battery wattage, doing whatever one is in the first slot. No sound effects with this one, though, so I was kind of a little bit disappointed. Also available is industrial lamps, available in a whole bunch of different colors. These are going to require power. So I'm guessing that means maybe solar power, for example. I've not experimented with these. Kind of wanted to see how it turned out. That's not where we want that one to go. So we want these to get powered up. Bring this power over here. And then do they power this? Ah, that's actually really cool. Place one there. Place one there. So a whole bunch of different colors. There is a very big, like, catalog of blocks you're able to use with this. I wonder if they stay powered, though. Like, if we were to take this now, is it actually powered? I don't think it is. That'd be pretty cool if you could power them up. Because you could turn the systems on and off. And then after this, another really cool system with this is going to be fountains. There are 3 separate fountains that you need. All need to be linked to power, to a pump, then to water on the outcome. Place this here. We have a small one. Is it small? Is this a big one? This one is small fountain. This is a jet fountain. And then the next one here is going to be a large fountain. I like the jet one, though. I think the jet one is probably the best. Where is it? Where did the jet one go? Where'd it go? I broke it, apparently. I lost... Oh, there it is. Over there. Can you have multiple of these? Let's try this. If we were to put another one there. That works. And then another one there. Yeah, they all work at the same time. But I'm going to take the power from this and put it here because there is an alarm system. But it doesn't actually do any form of alarm. It's just available. And then we have a catalog of blocks. A bunch of building blocks and tools as well. So, steel. We have vent pipes. So if you wanted to build like an industrial area, you're able to do it. These are going to... Oh, they have particles. Oh, that's actually really cool. Hold on. If we put this here then. I wonder if they go through. Oh, they do. Hold on. Let's see. Take this one out. Does it go through it? It does. Slightly. We also have iron pole, steel pole, iron beam. We have catwalks. Again, these are all blocks. What else have we got on me? I didn't realize how much stuff was in this. There's just a whole bunch. You guys will be here forever exploring. One thing I wasn't quite sure of is the rainbow ingots. There was no explanation behind these that I noticed. I really like the blocks, though. But these are just even more tools, which, by the way, aren't janky. That's nice to see. Really nice to see. They work like vanilla tools. That's pretty cool. Axes... steel versions and copper. Obviously, I think the steel might be a little bit better. So if we do / summon a husk here. Let's give it a go. Boom. Boom. Let's do / enchant at P. Oh. I'm trying to enchant it with sharpness. At P, sharpness 5. And then let's summon a husk. Yeah, they just work like your vanilla stuff. I was really impressed with this add-on. Mostly because I understood it. Because of their wiki page. It was really, really helpful. So... I'm not a techie person. This is a pretty techie add-on that will be updated even further in the future. So if you enjoy these types of add-ons, I think you guys will enjoy this. We have seen a couple of advanced ones. I would say this was very, very polished. And I think they did a really good job. So I'm looking forward to the future updates. The links down below to the wiki, to where you can download this, and everything you need to know. See you in the next video.